In our previous videos, we covered the presidents of the Ars Goetia. This video is a structural shift, and we'll look at our first knight, the demon Furcas. Whereas the presidents govern knowledge, structure, metaphysical processes, and functions of intelligence, knights govern action. Knights are executors, enforcers, catalysts, and vectors of force. We move now from the question of how is reality structured to what happens when structure breaks. Furcas is a knight who appears in the form of an old man with a long beard, riding upon a pale horse, carrying a sharp weapon. He teaches philosophy, rhetoric, logic, astronomy, palmistry, and pyromancy. Furcas represents knowledge that must be enforced, not merely contemplated. He is judgment that acts, discernment that cuts, and wisdom that separates what is true from what is false. This is why he's depicted riding upon a horse, symbolic of movement and action. His weapon symbolizes decision that is applied and carried out. The presidents of the Ars Goetia taught us about what is hidden, what is structured, what dissolves, what endures, and what lies beneath. Furcas answers a different question. What must now be decided? The time of exploration and ambiguity is past. Now is the moment of applied discrimination. Furcas is the principle that forces knowledge into action. Furcas governs the threshold where knowledge evolves from being analytical to being directive. Knowledge not applied is not wisdom. This is where Furcas steps in and why he is necessary. The presidents of the Ars Goetia distribute intelligence across systems. Furcas understands that knowledge will stagnate and lose its power if it remains speculative. Furcas is the vector that forces discernment into execution. The appearance of Furcas as an old man with a long beard is meant to symbolize wisdom, maturity, and judgment. The horse symbolizes movement, action, purpose, drive, and application. The sharp weapon symbolizes decisiveness, for Furcas is not exploring possibilities, he is making executive decisions. Within the infernal metaphysics of Pluto Sophia, the blade is not solely a weapon of violence. It's better understood as a tool of discernment, decisiveness, and strict, unbiased judgment. It's a tool for taking action and getting things done the right way. The sharpness of the blade is able to cut flawlessly through any veil of illusion or deception, arriving most assuredly at truth through cold logic. Once the truth is unveiled and known, it demands action. This is when Furcas bursts onto the scene upon his horse. Furcas teaches philosophy, rhetoric, logic, astronomy, and divination, but not so much as disciplines to be studied as the presidents would teach, but instead as criteria for judgment. So, for example, philosophy becomes a means of measuring the coherence of a system, Logic becomes the blade that separates truth from contradiction. Rhetoric becomes speech that must now commit. Astronomy becomes orientation in a larger order. Again, these are tools of decision, not contemplation. The presidents of the Ars Goetia ask, what is this? How does it work? Where does it lead? Furcas asks, what must be done now? He does away with any and all ambiguity. Where a demon like Oze destabilizes identity, Furcas restabilizes it through judgment. Where Valak reveals what is hidden, Furcas decides what to do with that revelation. Psychologically, Furcas acts like a CEO. He makes decisions without hesitation. He stops asking questions and gives up analysis. This is because he's ready to commit to a decision, to a plan. Furcas is useful for those suffering from the lack of motivation or indecisiveness that results from feeling overwhelmed and lacking confidence. Within the major arcana of the tarot, Furcas aligns with justice. This is because justice is a card of authority and decision. It is a card of finality. Justice does not backtrack, succumb to appeal, or debate. Justice is all about the finality of making and carrying out a decision. Furcas is a metaphysical intelligence that forces knowledge into consequence. This demon stands at the point where inquiry ends, judgment begins, and action becomes inevitable. In Pluto Sophia, Furcas is a demon that teaches this lesson. To know is to be responsible for what that knowledge demands. That responsibility is his blade.